And some questions from our listener, Timur Golovinov. What's the best ways for software engineers to contribute to the field?
Well, there is, I mean, the field is very much dependent on software, as I'm sure you know. I think the best way first is to get an overall understanding of, the field, both from the basic neuroscience through the clinical problems, through the issues of what sorts of problems you want to address, how you need to go about addressing that, both scientifically and engineering wise and commercially and ethics wise. That's why we developed our comprehensive 3-week neurotechnology course, which we're hoping to give virtually again next year. It's been in person, but obviously next year it's not going to be in person. But it's good to get an overall grasp and to be able to look at the field and say, oh, okay, these are the issues, and pick out a particular area that you're interested in and say, well, I would like to contribute to improve rehabilitation. I'd like to contribute to improve communication, and then learn the various pieces of the process, the multidisciplinary process to do that, so that you can interface with the people who are expertise in other areas.
I merged 2 questions in one. Dear Dr. Wolpaw, do you believe that it's possible that BCIs are used in everyday life? And how much time do you think will pass before the technology becomes widespread and affordable? Thank you.
Well, we're a long way from using them for really important purposes in everyday life. It has to, the science needs to get there. There are a whole variety of scientific problems. You've heard a good deal about the implant problem. That's one problem, but probably the bigger problem is we have to understand more about how the brain works to do this. Those problems have to be solved. Then there have to be specific applications. What do we want to do? And probably the application, the first or the second application, widespread application, we don't even know now. It'll come out as it happens, and suddenly everyone will be using a BCI for this purpose or that purpose, which now we really couldn't figure out or predict. So that will happen eventually. In the meantime, BCIs will be, the current level can be very valuable for rehabilitation to improve function. That's what, in the short term, I'm most excited about. There are certainly some communication control applications for the most disabled people that should be out there. There are issues with basically the support of those to make them commercially viable. That's a problem that has not been solved. And there may be people listening to me who have some ideas about that. That would be great, but that's a major problem. This will happen eventually, but how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, it's going to happen gradually. And we can't exactly predict I think at this point, what we're going to wind up using BCIs for most.